Starting your own business. Here are 3 things you need to know before you start your own business. Number 1, identify your target market and their needs before you start that business and start campaigning in a proper manner for it. Number 2, have a very solid business plan which defines your market, your potential, and more importantly, your projected financials. This will give you the layers you need in order to grow your business. Prepare for financial challenges. Starting a new business is going to be very expensive, believe it or not. There's some cases that you can reduce that cost, but always be prepared for the worst case scenario until your business starts generating proper revenues.
Okay, so the first thing he said to start a business is identify your target market. I would say there's a step before that, which is identify what your business is going to be, right? If you're going to be a window washer, then you want to identify people who own homes with enough windows that they'd want window washing and can afford and are going to care about a window washing service. So, but if I just identify people who own homes as my target market, but what's the service? So you have to start one step before he's saying, once you identify what your product or service is going to be, then yes, you want to know who the target market is. And then the second thing he said is have a business plan. I would say, yes, it doesn't hurt to have a business plan, but more importantly, or the biggest critical part of that business plan is, what are you going to do that makes whatever you're doing different than, better than the competition from the people who are already paying for that kind of service or product that you're offering? What makes yours stand out? That's the key piece. And yes, if you want to write a business plan around how you're going to do that, great. But just having a business plan by itself doesn't do you any good if you haven't identified what your unique selling proposition is going to be. And then last, he points out that it's going to be very expensive to start a business and you have to be financially prepared. I would say again, if I'm starting a window washing business, I can identify my target customers as people with higher end homes with plenty of windows that might want to pay for that service. And then I can literally go door to door or put a listing on Craigslist or Nextdoor or OfferUp or whatever as a window washing service, wait till somebody calls or until I get a potentially interested customer, I'll go out, I'll give them a quote. If they agree, then I can run to Home Depot and get a bucket and a squeegee and soap and sponges and some extension poles and a ladder and come back on the day I've agreed to do the service, and that's the same day that they pay me, right? So it doesn't have to be very expensive to start a business. It entirely depends what kind of business you're gonna start. You wanna start a high-end restaurant? Yes, that's gonna cost $500,000 to $1 million by the time you fit out the space with everything you need. But if you wanna start a window washing business or a content writing business, or a marketing business, or a social media marketing business, or a lead generation business, or on and on. There's all kinds of businesses you can start with virtually no cash and pay for it as you make sales. So I don't agree that necessarily you have to plan to spend a lot of money to start a business. It just depends what kind of business you're going to start. So there's some okay advice in here, but I would take it from a different angle and focus a little bit more on what I'm going to sell, and then identify the target market, and then identify what my unique selling proposition is going to be. And then depending on the answers to that, tells me how much, if any, money I need to go ahead and actually get that thing started.